You've just tuned in to the nexus of inspiring, encouraging, and uplifting leaders who share their successes and their failures. Insights that will motivate, cultivate, educate, and illuminate your path to a very bright future. Welcome to Shaping the Future podcast. Here's your host, Greg Kell.
Good day, Future Shapers. This is Greg, and welcome to the latest episode of Shaping the Future podcast. Today, we'll meet Pablo Fonseca of 1-800 Broker. Welcome, Pablo. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Hey, Greg. I'm glad to be here today. My name is, I'm Pablo, as you said. I've been a business broker for the past 10 years. Prior to that, I've owned a few different businesses. Went to UC Riverside here in Riverside, and I've been living in Riverside ever since I've been to UCR. And just love being in the area here.
Excellent. So at the Future Shapers and our audience, we believe that entrepreneurship and innovation are working together to generate higher productivity, profits, and growth. Pablo, that is our passion. Tell me, what are you most passionate about today?
What I really like doing is helping my clients get the most value for the business that they've spent a lifetime building. So, some of my clients have been working on their business for 20, 30 years, and maybe they don't want to, maybe the kids don't want to take over the business. Maybe their kids are now attorneys or lawyers or something else, or doctors, and now they want to retire. So my joy comes from giving them that peace of mind that they can now cash out and go to the Bahamas.
Ladies and gentlemen, Future Shapers, that was a value bomb dropped by Pablo today. He helps his clients generate peace of mind and giving them freedom as well. Outstanding. Pablo, when did you first start 1-800 Broker?
1-800 Business Broker started about 3 years ago. Actually, I was a business broker for 10 years, but I bought this phone number, 1-800 Business Broker, off the secondary market. I don't think people knew what it actually said, just numbers. But I bought this phone number because I wanted to build a brand that kind of like 1-800 Contacts or 1-800 Pharmacy, 1-800, all these numbers that you recognize and you know exactly what they do and how to get a hold of them. So when you think of 1-800 Business Broker, you know exactly what you're going to get and how to get a hold of me. So that started 3 years ago, but I've been a business broker for 10 years now.
So about 10 years, you've seen it all. You've seen the ups and you've seen the downs, swinging from a chandelier, occasionally digging a ditch. Pablo, we find that life sometimes throws us a curveball. Things don't turn out the way that we would like them to all the time. Tell me a short story about a time in your business career when life threw you a curveball.
Well, my business will be a curveball actually all the time. For example, when we are halfway through negotiations and about to open escrow with a client, and we find out that the client hasn't filed their tax returns for the past 2 years, or exactly. So now you have a buyer that no longer believes the valuation, and they pull out, and the deal's dead. And this probably happens when the deal dies. You do all this work, the deal dies, and it might happen once or twice a year, but you always learn something from it, and that's the key, because if you keep doing this, you end up working for free, because you don't get paid till the business sells.
Tell me, what lesson have you learned from these types of unfortunate situations?
Well, you learn to do a better job interviewing the client initially, making sure that all their documents are in place, that they have all the permits that they say they have, that their ABC license is legit, that they pay their payroll taxes, that their CPA is on board and can verify the receipts. Every time this has happened, we learn something more and more, and we try to avoid it in the future.
Another value bomb dropped by Pablo. Know your client, make sure the docs are in order, and make sure that they are trustworthy. Excellent advice. Tell me, we are in a new year, 2018. This is January of 2018. When you look forward into 2018, what is your most important goal?
2018, I think I'm going to focus on licensing more 1-800 Business Broker states to other brokers, so that we can all collectively add more business, more value to business owners, more content in the internet, and so we can all work together and improve our rankings. That's my goal for 2018 is getting more business brokers on board with 1-800-BIZBROKER.
So building the brand, so a little bit of online or web work, but also ultimately building more brokers to expand your agency. Is that a good summary?
Absolutely. We want to get the name out nationwide. The 1-800-BIZBROKER is the place to do business when you're going to start your business.
Excellent. Some high aspirations for Pablo in 2018. Tell me, what are the biggest challenges that you face right now?
The biggest challenges are always finding the right clients. I think lots of business owners may be frustrated and want to sell, but sometimes they're just not sellable. And what we try to do is either help them get to the point where they can be sellable, or we try and do our best to find the business that we can sell, because ultimately we have to put the money up front to market these businesses for sale. And if we can't sell these businesses, then we don't make any money. So it's a balance every day of finding the right kind of business, and it's a balance of quality over quantity, I guess you should say, of the listings that you represent.
Another value bomb, finding the right balance between opposing elements, quality against value. Sometimes that's a challenge. What concerns do you have right now in regards to the challenges that you're facing?
I guess my biggest concern is even though I try to ignore it, I think it's the political environment that we live in right now. It's kind of a concern. There's a lot of uncertainty out there as to what's going to happen. Hopefully it all turns out positive. We all think it's going to be positive, but some business owners aren't sure what's going to happen, so they might not want to sell now, might want to take a wait and see approach. But you never know. We got to keep going forward and just do what you do every day and do as best you can.
Another value bomb where we have the concerns about the political environment being way outside of our control. So focus on those things that are within your control and keep on chugging.
That's right.
Excellent. Remember all the way back 10 years ago, when you first became an entrepreneur, how did it feel like, and what was holding you back at that moment where you stepped across the chasm to become an entrepreneur?
Well, 10 years back when I became a business broker, I think my biggest challenge was having credibility. Because you go out there and you try to find clients and try to help people that you want to sell businesses for, but you have no listings, you have no background, you have no web presence, you have no reputation. So that was the biggest hurdle I had to overcome is creating that reputation and getting to where we are today.
And how did you overcome that?
Networking, getting out there and talking to people and making yourself known in the community, and writing blogs and getting your websites ranked on Google, making sure that when people search on Google that, how do I sell my business, that my website comes up, creating videos, all those things lends to your credibility, because people can find out who you are and what you do on the web. I think it's better than just dealing with a stranger out that you just met on the street.
Well, I'm here to attest, Pablo, that you have an excellent footprint on Google. Multiple listings on the first page, multiple different ways in which a user can understand who you are and what you stand for. You have opportunities to build trust, and that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Tell me about and describe, please, your ideal client.
My ideal client. Well, my ideal client is someone who's been in business for at least 5 years, who has great books, whose business is profitable, who has systems in place in their business so that obviously they're in charge and they're important to the business, but the business can run without them.
Right. When
you pull them away for some time, and they're motivated to sell. Those are the kind of businesses that I like to deal with.
Excellent. As a long-term professional, I would imagine that you have had maybe some mentor relationships that people that have provided you advice for the benefit of our future shapers audience listening now, tell me, what is the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice, it's going to be sounding funny, but I think someone told me just get out and do it, because one time, just like Nike, right? Just get out and do it.
Just do it.
Just you can't overthink things sometimes. Although you got to prepare and plan and try to minimize your risk, you're never going to actually avoid all risk. But eventually you still have to do it. You got to get out and just try it.
Excellent. Just do it. Another value bomb dropped by Pablo. Just do it and don't delay. Pablo, we in the Future Shapers Nation are big readers. Is there a book that you could recommend to the Future Shapers listeners? And why is that book valuable?
I think one of the, this is an older book, The E-Myth, which is about entrepreneurship. I think that's one of where I realized that, as you know, most businesses fail. 80% of businesses do fail. And I think the biggest reason that this book tells you is, although you may be, for example, the best cook or a great cook, and you just want to open a restaurant, you might not be the greatest manager of people, or hire the right people, or pay the bills on time, or file your taxes on time. So you need to either surround yourself with people that can help you with those areas, or create systems to help you achieve all the things that you need to do in business, and not just the overwhelming key point of your business, which is maybe cooking, or maybe maybe you're the best shoemaker. I'm not sure. Whatever it is you do, you probably are the best at it. You want to be the best at it, but you also need to be good at all the other hats that are required to running a successful business. Excellent
recommendation. Future Shapers, Pablo is recommending The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber.
That's right.
Excellent book. I agree. Michael, we at the Future Shapers understand that simple actions and habits over time work together to yield a very prosperous future. Tell me, what are you doing now to shape your future?
Well, I try to write almost every day, and then hopefully within a week or 2 or 3 weeks, then I get something that I can actually turn into a helpful blog for a business owner. That's one thing. I try to constantly create content for the internet, for our websites, and for my business, and I think that's been very helpful. And every day I try and do something that helps my business, whether it's update a listing on Google, or on our website, or call a client, see how they're doing, making sure that they're still on board with the sales process. You got to do something every day to work on your business.
So content generation that is focused on adding value to prospects and to customers. That is Pablo's secret sauce. That is part of his habits that he applies over time.
Absolutely. Thank you. You said it much better than I did.
Pablo, to change the subject, we at Shaping the Future believe that our nation is at a tipping point, and that we as citizens have a responsibility to gradually and positively shape our nation's future in a positive direction. Tell me, Pablo, what is America to you?
America to me is, it may sound cliche, but it's just opportunity. It's the fact that in this country you can I really do think you can still work hard, and you have a goal, and you set you set into motion to achieve that goal. I think you can accomplish almost anything, even though it may seem it's getting harder in this state, with workers' comp issues and higher taxes, and there's always ways to get around things and make sure you're successful enough to pay for those things. But I think if you set a goal and move forward towards it, I think in this country at least is one of the countries that you can actually achieve it.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing, Pablo. And Future Shapers audience, I'd like to ask Pablo to share with us audience how listeners can contact you today and what they might receive when they do contact you.
Well, very simple. If you want to contact me, just call 1-800-BIZBROKER, 1-800-BIZBROKER, or just Google me, 1-800-BIZBROKER, you'll find me. And what you can find when you contact me is that I'll be open to, hearing your situation and seeing if I can help you. I'll be very open and honest with you. I don't like to waste people's time because that is the most important resource, right? So, and we do free business valuations. I can help you to determine whether right now is the right time to sell or not.
There you have it, Future Shapers. Contact Pablo Fonseca at 1-800-BIZBROKER for a free business valuation and maybe some really good advice to make your business all that it could be, have your life be all that it could be. Thank you, Future Shapers, for attending this episode, and be ready for the next upcoming episode of Shaping the Future podcast. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining this episode of Shaping the Future podcast. We leave you, Future Shapers, with this challenge. Act boldly today to shape your future, because if you don't, it will absolutely be shaped for you.